Hey BookTube, welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg, as you know. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a indie author spotlight video. I've made a couple of these over the last few years. It's been a while since my last one, and I get a lot of email and queries or DMs from people, authors that are, eager to have some recognition of the work that they're doing out there, and I love to do it. In fact, a lot of the reviews that I write are for indie authors in the realms of fiction, mystery, thrillers, and of course, my reviews that are in publications are more of a history nature. But I do a lot of indie book reviewing for Independent Book Review, Book Trib, Forward reviews. They have their Forward magazine book reviews, and they also have what they call Clarion reviews, which are usually the independent authors trying to just get their books out there and get someone to read it and critique them. So I do that, and it's been a real joy for me. I've got a stack here. And I just have to, first of all, I just want to apologize for the delay in getting this video up for these kind authors who sent me copies of their work. And I do want you to know that I'm very appreciative. These came in over the last several months, even into the end of last year. And then things kind of, in my personal life, were kind of rough at the beginning of the year. And at the end of last year, and then I just had so much work that I just didn't get a chance to make a video. But my intent is to show you these books. There's a couple here, a few of them actually, that I've already started to dip into and read. And one or two, maybe, depending on if the author is willing, might have them on the show for an author interview. But let me start with the oldest two books that I got. I mean, I really just need to get this out there. And I'll include a link to their website because it's quite charming. This is interesting. Now this is, I guess you'd call these mysteries, cozy mysteries. And this is a husband and wife team. And the writing is just delightful. They have dialogue down pat. And the artwork on these covers are so interesting. I'd like to know who did them. But anyway, all I know is that the names of the authors are Alfie and Annabelle. So that's the husband and wife team. They sent me two of their little cozy mysteries. How cute are these? Let's start with A Cup of Gloom by Alfie and Annabelle, as you can see. I think these are published by Fog Cutter Cafe 2024. So yeah, this was last year. So I apologize again for the delay in getting this up on the channel. But let's see, what is A Cup of Gloom about here? What happens when secrets just won't stay buried? After a lifetime of heartache, things are finally looking up for Jenny Boyd. Daughter of a World War II hero, she's now the mayor of her small coastal Oregon hamlet and preparing for a weekend of celebration in honor of her father and his men. But when she discovers a mysterious corpse washed up on the beach outside her cozy cliffside cottage, nothing is as it seems. Can Jenny untangle decades of lies and uncover the dark secrets that have shrouded her tragic past? And that is A Cup of Gloom. It's 176 pages, so they probably get to it really quick. And then, let's see here. Let me just read you a little bit about the authors. Alfie and Annabelle are longtime spouses with a shared love for spooky stories and mind-blowing mysteries. Native to the Pacific Northwest, they've always dreamed of telling page-turning tales set in the lost coast wilderness they love. That's fantastic. So that's the first one they sent me, and I'll be curious to see if they have another one coming out. This is a longer novel, The next one is over 300 pages and is called Matriarch. Love that artwork. So let's see what this one's about. An ancient forest can be many things. A playground, a postcard, a sanctuary. But for Ruth Westcott, a grande dame of Gilded Age Philadelphia society, scarred by a terrifying supernatural vision, the forest is a living, breathing enemy. A murderous no man's land, minus the barbed wire. When her husband uproots the family to a redwood lumber town on the California coast, she's forced to confront her deepest fears. Surrounded by sinister conspirators in the most forbidding wilderness on earth, it's time to choose. A life of comfort or trust in the power of the matriarch. That is great. I love it. And they have little hand stencil drawings inside, and they just look like they have fun writing these together. And sweet. Yeah, they seem to be written really well. You can tell right away, and if you review books like I do, you can tell within the first 2 pages if it's going to be a tough read as a reviewer or if it's going to be a breeze. This is going to be a breeze. So thank you to Alfie and Annabelle out there on the Pacific Lost Coast, as you call it, for Matriarch and a Cup of Gloom. I'm hoping, my plan is this summer to get a lot of things done as far as getting things read. And please let me know, Alfie and Annabelle, if you're working on another book, and I'll be happy to feature it on the program. Okay. The next one. Now this is an author. He has another book out. And I apologize again for the delay in getting to this one. This is by Michael Kenneth Smith, and it's called Fantasy, spelled very differently. Fantasy. And the teaser at the top says, she traded state secrets to win back her family. He flew atomic peril across borders to secure their future. So it looks like not for resale. I get it. Looks like a great love story, maybe. And it looks like Michael Kenneth Smith has written another book called The Postwoman. Okay. But as far as the name of the publisher, I believe this might be independently published. And I always appreciate the handwritten notes. That's so nice. And Alfie and Annabelle did that for me too. They gave me a bookmark and a nice little handwritten note. I hope you enjoy these books as much as we enjoyed creating them. Just lovely people. Lovely people out there doing good work. Okay, so we're got Fantasy here by Michael Kenneth Smith. It says here, trapped between loyalty and love, a deported spy and a desperate fighter pilot navigate a world of secrets, uranium, and Cold War intrigue. As she faces the horrors of, I can pronounce this, Sachsenhausen, that's probably a concentration camp, the horrors of Sachsenhausen, and he wrestles with a deadly cargo, their forbidden romance becomes their greatest weapon. And I'm only reading slowly because this is covering the type. And he wrestles with a deadly cargo. Their forbidden romance becomes their greatest weapon in a daring fight for redemption and survival. I like learning about the authors. So Michael Kenneth Smith is a historiographer, and here's a word I've never heard of before: a votarist. Votarist, a votarist, and a storyteller. You just have to hang on a moment while I look up votarist, because this is going to drive me nuts. All right. Wow. A votarist. Okay, well, I know what votary is. So this is what that means. Okay. A person who is bound by solemn religious vows as a monk or nun. Wow! Michael Kenneth Smith. Wow. All right. Got to know more about you. Let me get back to this. Yes. A votarist. Okay. His historical fiction is praised for its accuracy and cinematic quality. Many of his novels have been turned into screenplays, and several of them have been Amazon bestsellers. All right. Trained as a mechanical engineer, Smith sold his successful auto parts business and became interested in sharing his stories with the world. Well, good for you, sir. And I will be reading this. I try to carve out a little bit of time for my independent authors. And in fact, the majority of my upcoming author interviews are with independent authors. And I'll just show you this one too. I'm going to be reading this starting like now, and having back on the program someone I've already interviewed before, Helena P. Schrader. She just released a third edition of this book with a new introduction for the third edition. And we're going to be talking specifically about this historical fiction. This is The Tale of the English Templar, which is out right now. It's been reviewed by Kirkus and all the others. I think Forward Reviews did their own. And I'm excited to get into this. Helena Schrader has written, they're in their other room. She is about to come out with the third volume in the Berlin Airlift trilogy, which began with, I think, Cold Peace, Cold War, which is the second book, and then I think the final one is Cold Victory. And when that one comes out and I get a chance to read it, she'll be back on the program. But in the meantime, I hope to have her slotted for a review by mid-June. Actually, I need to email her and ask her about that. So if you're happening to be watching this right now, Helena, hey, how does mid-June sound for this interview? The Tale of the English Templar. Let's see here. An English Templar traveling to Cyprus is one of thousands arrested on Friday, October 13th, 1307. Victims of Philip IV's greed for the order's legendary riches, they are cruelly tortured. The English knight becomes the first non-French Templar to confess to the trumped-up charges. Then he disappears. Soon, other imprisoned Templars also go missing from the French king's dungeons. Rumors begin to circulate of a band of free Templars. Based on historical events, not fantasy, The Tale of the English Templar tells the story of the struggle between good and evil in human hearts. One of my favorite themes of fiction, period. And the power of love even in our darkest hour. So, and this is from Cross Seas Press. But yeah, that's another indie author that definitely will be scheduling soon. But we'll get back to Kenneth Smith and fantasy. And I might have to check out The Postwoman as well. I love having authors on. So check this one out if you're interested in a good World War II love story. All right. Next on the list. Oh, yes. And I just can't apologize enough for the delay in getting to these books, but I hope you guys know that really it's only because I've been swamped and trying to reprioritize certain things so I can make time for good content and to bubble up lesser known authors. Another work of historical fiction, a novel that looks fantastic, and this is by John C. Gabriel. He was kind enough to reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in reading this, and I said absolutely. It's a short novel, about 220 or 230 pages, but this is Sink the Rising Sun. And you know what this is about. Look at that. Look at that conning tower. I love submarine stories. It's just fantastic. Yep. This, I think, was it also independently published? I think so. I love these notes that people do. He's got his maps in here and everything. This will be a nice, fun read. And finally, I had a lot of big deadlines in May, and they were big for big, long books. We're talking really big. Lots of note-taking, lots of synthesizing, lots of just racking my brain to bring together all the different themes and, arguments, and so it just ate up so much of my energy and time and reading time. So, but now it's like I want to get to these indie authors, and I want to read these books. So we've got Sink the Rising Sun, which is about, let me read it to you. In the dark days after Pearl Harbor, a small, untested arm of the United States Navy was all that stood between the shattered American fleet and the ascendant Japanese Empire. Far off in Western Australia, U.S. submarine officer Benjamin Holt finds himself on the front lines of World War II with nothing but a decades-old sub and a rusty crew. The green 25-year-old is ordered to stop Imperial Japan's bloody expansion across the Pacific any way he can. Between each nerve-wracking war patrol, he's further challenged by Navy politics, faulty equipment, and his lost love back home, all while adjusting to his strange new life down under. Deeply researched and expertly told by a submarine veteran. Fantastic. Thank you, John C. Gabriel, for your service, sir. Sink the Rising Sun combines edge-of-your-seat action, unforgettable characters, and wry humor to reveal a young officer and his young nation choosing to lead and accepting nothing but total victory. And there is our author, John C. Gabriel. Okay. He's a former U.S. Navy submarine nuclear reactor operator and is now a full-time writer and columnist. Fascinating. He's a regular contributor to Discourse magazine and the Arizona Republic and has been published, listen to this, in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, National Review, CNN.com, and many other outlets. Sink the Rising Sun is his first novel. Oh, that's fantastic. And I hope not your last. I'll be reporting back on this book, I promise, because this has been like, I can, it's next to my review pile, but then there's all my books I want to read and talk about on the channel, and this is one of them. So if you're interested, please check this out anywhere fine books are sold. You know where to look. Now, here's another book that I've just started reading. I've had a very fun DM back and forth with this author and found out some interesting trivia about him. Now this is I say he's an independent author. He does have a publishing house putting this one out. I just want to spotlight him because this is one I definitely would like to have an author interview over this book. And this is A Quest for God and Spices by Dean Sykan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Dean. If I'm not, I apologize. And it's the Emissaries Book 1. Now, you know your girl loves series, and I always want to be on top of a book 1 of anything. And so he reached out to me and said, would you be interested in reading? I said, absolutely. At first, I confused it, and I thought it was a history book. And then he sent it, and I'm like, oh, no, it's a historical fiction novel. I love historical fiction, obviously. It's like the most, it's the next step from history. It's just historical fiction, and I love it, and I read tons of it. This is put out by Kohler Books. I have read and reviewed many Kohler books for Independent Book Review, I think Book Trib as well. So they put out good stuff by independent authors, and I love this. He signed it. To Peg, keep questing for great reads. But it's the Emissaries Book 1. Real excited for this one. Like I said, I started reading it, and my goal is to hopefully have Dean on the program in July, because June is filling up already. A Quest for God and Spices begins an epic journey across the ancient world. In the year AD 1200, a new pope agitates for a renewed crusade to reconquer Muslim-controlled Jerusalem. European monarchs largely ignore his call, too involved with squabbles among themselves. The pope chooses two men, Brother Mauro, an older monk, or an older votarist. You ready? I'm tying it all back in. No. An older monk, and Niccolo, a young striving merchant, to traverse the treacherous political, religious, and mercantile terrain of medieval Europe and the Byzantine Empire to seek out the powerful presbyter John, a mysterious king in the Far East who has promised to put his wealth and vast armies to the service of the Pope's crusade. Niccolò's task is to guide Mauro, but a corrupt cardinal has secretly charged the young man with finding the source of the precious spices that ensure the Venetian and Arab trade monopoly. Niccolò's youthful exuberance, carelessness, and desire to be important jeopardizes their mission, while Mauro's knowledge of scripture and pagan works has not prepared him for the schemes of doges. Oh, God, there's that word, doge. Okay, the schemes of doges and emirs, clergymen, and kings. That is fantastic. And here's Dean. Here is our author. He is an author, international lawyer, and pioneering social entrepreneur. His first novel, Finding Home, Hungary, 1945, received a gold medal from the Independent Press Awards and was a finalist for the Goethe Late Fiction Award and was the grand prize winner in the International Cinematic Book Competition. Fascinating. He was also he did tell me this in our DMs. He hosted 2 PBS specials, you guys. Traveling in the 1970s and Coffee, the Drink That Changed America. And he's appeared on the Today Show, Rick Steves' Europe, and NPR's Living on Earth. Oh yeah, he's going to be a great guest. He's already been like, yeah, I got stories. And one of them, I don't want to give it all away right now. He had a little walk-on role in Pirates of the Caribbean Part 3. It's kind of a funny story, so I'm going to let him tell it when he's on the program. But anyway, A Quest for God and Spices. It's a new book in a series called The Emissaries. Set in the 13th century. And I've already started reading it. I haven't gotten real far because I just wrapped up some of my major deadlines on Sunday. I took a day off on Saturday and then I worked on Sunday. Sorry, God. I should not have, but I had to submit a couple of reviews on Sunday. And then I took, obviously, Memorial Day. I was, off, and that's when I was like, let's finally start. So, A Quest for God and Spices from Dean Sykon. And so these are the books that I will be tapping into. Now, I did get a very interesting, very different kind of book. And I want to be fair. Anyone who sends me a copy of their work, I'll show on this channel for sure. I have looked through this book. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first. I'm like, is this a manual? Because it's a strange title for a historical fiction novel. I thought it was a technical manual, but no, and it has a very interesting layout. It looks like almost like a galley of, let me just show you. This is Aircraft Battle Damage by Ian Freedom. I don't think that's his real name, but yeah, Aircraft Battle Damage. So let me tell you, and then I'll show you some of the stuff inside. This is a historical fiction novel centered around September 11th, 2001 events in the deploying of Air Force aircraft battle damage repair engineers to answer the nation's call to keep aircraft flying sorties against America's enemies. And it includes real engineering repair analysis and repair designs. So, and as you can see, this is like a very, now look at that. That looks like something, the way the text is written, that looks like something you turn into the proofreader and this is usually not, books are not typeset like this. This is like raw copy. But he's got just tons of like drawings, analysis. I'm curious how he's gonna build a story. I don't know if the characters are. I've read some of it, and I'm like, interesting, but yeah, I think he wanted to marry two things in this book: is his love of just the technical aircraft repair, battle damage repair, with a story. Let me just show you some of this though, because this is wild. Like I said, okay, this is wild. What is going on here? This is like photocopies of actual notes that were taken. Wow. And then look at all this. I'm impressed. This is some serious mathematical equations. Don't think it's going to mean anything to the reader though. I think this is for, people who are in the know. I'm sure his buddies and friends probably were like, yeah, I want a copy of this. But anyway, I don't think I can do anything with any of this, but I know nothing about engineering, know nothing about, struggled with math when that's why I was an English kid, I was just all the way. But I'm always impressed by people who know this stuff, like who get it. So yeah, aircraft battle damage. I don't have a verdict yet on this one, but I wanted to show it to you. Thank you for sending me the book, Mr. Freedom. I do appreciate it. I hope that gets, for any of the engineers out there, aircraft guys that might really dig this. There is an ISBN, so you definitely could type in aircraft battle damage, Ian Freedom, and it would find somewhere to go. And I also have to say thank you to Ian because he signed the book and he was very complimentary. He was like, your YouTube channel is awesome. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you, Ian. And I hope this book finds a home with, the right audience. And I'm definitely going to be, like I said, I haven't had a chance to dive in yet. And you sent it to me a little while ago. But hey, I'm here. And so is this book, Aircraft Battle Damage, by Ian Freedom. All right, so we've got a lot of indie authors in this indie author spotlight. Dean Syken, coming soon in an author interview. Sink the Rising Sun. I hope this is the first of many World War II, like maybe submarine related thrillers by John C. Gabriel. We have a nice romantic love story set in the horrors of World War II, fantasy by noted voterist, Michael Kenneth Smith. And then, of course, I mentioned Helena P. Schrader will be back on the channel once I finish reading The Tale of the English Templar. And we're going to go through this book. I do highly recommend her work. I have read, I've got a bunch of books that she sent me that she's written, but I've mostly been focused on the Berlin Airlift trilogy, which is now will be wrapping up soon. So we're going to be covering those books again in another interview. And then lovely Alfie and Annabelle with these cozy mysteries that are just delightful from what I've read already. Have not finished them, but the writing is superb. So that is our indie author spotlight. And I hope to have more in the future. Like I said, I will actually, I know. And then another author sent me he's got a lot of books, and he's going to be another one that I will have on the program. But I'm going to do a separate video just to show you all the books he sent me and which one I'm starting with based on his recommendation. So yeah, we'll have more on indie authors, specifically and primarily the historical fiction indie authors, but also, like I said, I love a good mystery. Mysteries are one of my other side interests, not just history. I read a lot of fiction too, but yeah, so stay tuned. We'll have another segment on indie authors coming soon. In the meantime, check out these guys. I think I'll link to them and their websites in the description box. So go down there, give them some love, show them some support, say something in the comments. Let us know which one appeals to you the most, which ones you might check out. That'll really make their day. So, and it'll make mine as well. So thanks for joining me again here at the History Shelf, everybody. I hope you're doing well out there, and we'll be back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.